Disgraced TV icon Bill Cosby, he's now a free man. Alan Dershowitz back with us to react. Professor of Harvard Law School and author of the book Guilt by Association. He's also a Newsmax analyst. So good to see you, sir. So first, how was Cosby convicted in the first place if this agreement was in the books?
He shouldn't have been. He never should have been tried. He can't get his 2.5 years back. He made a deal. He was promised that he wouldn't be prosecuted. As a result of that, he testified in the civil case, which he wouldn't have had to do. He could have pleaded the Fifth Amendment. And then his testimony in the civil case was used against him by a prosecutor who ran for office on the claim that he would violate the promise and he would prosecute him. And the court looked at that and said, no, that's a violation of due process. Whatever you might think of Bill Cosby, he's entitled to due process, and you're not given due process when a prosecutor makes a promise and then a subsequent prosecutor breaks the promise after you've relied on it and provided evidence that you wouldn't have had to provide. It's a very simple case. He never should have been prosecuted in the first place.
So during that trial, sir, did his attorneys argue that and say that at all? Because for those who weren't following the trial?
Oh, yeah, they argued that. And they also argued that the evidence of other women who were not accusers criminally should not have been used. A lot of arguments were made. He had a good trial lawyer, a very good appellate lawyer, and the court came to the right decision. You have to ask yourself, why did the trial court and why did other courts not come to this decision? It seems so obvious that it's the right decision. If you believe in the rule of law, you can't have prosecutors making promises and then subsequent prosecutors breaking them. That's a violation of core due process.
Yeah, and so basically, it really wasn't based on the facts, but it was a legal technicality.
Well, it's not a legal technicality. It's a constitutional basis. It's what we fought the revolution about. It's what we're celebrating July 4th about. The Constitution provides that no person shall be prosecuted without due process of law. So it's anything but a technicality. It's the heart and soul of our legal system.
Yeah, I want to move on to another story that's making headlines. The Trump Organization expected to be charged with tax crimes. How serious are these, and what do you make of this indictment?
Well, I think, again, it's the weaponization, the criminalization, the attempt to criminalize politics and weaponize the criminal justice system. They don't generally go after people criminally for tax violations that even the IRS apparently hasn't gone after them for. So you have a city Manhattan prosecutor going after somebody for essentially violating federal tax law when the federal government hasn't gone after them. Generally, in situations like this, you get a letter saying you have to pay your taxes and you didn't do it and you owe this and this and that amount of money. But it's very rare that you get criminal prosecution for this kind of thing. But we'll see what happens. The goal, obviously, is to try to flip the guy and get him to turn against former President Trump. Former President Trump is the ultimate target of any of these prosecutions, and it's very political.
Yeah, it's politics. It's politics. Sir, before we let you go, we have to get your reaction because a lot of people are talking about the judge's decision in California denying Britney Spears' request to end her conservatorship. Do you agree with that decision? And do you think, Spears has any more recourse here?
I think she does, and I think she's an adult and she has the right to determine her own life. A conservatorship should only be used in extraordinary cases when somebody is incompetent, and obviously she. So I don't agree with that decision. I think individual autonomy should prevail. She should be allowed to make her own decisions. She can make mistakes. Look, we all make mistakes. She's a grown-up.
Yeah, and she's an adult. I think a lot of people agree with you. Alan Dershowitz, always good to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.